Yes, I'm backing out. Headed to the day. What are you guys up to? I don't have to go on the air till 2 o'clock, but it's 11:30. I like to get there early. I start, if I don't get to work like before noon, I start shaking. I get nervous. I can't focus because I know where I'm supposed to be. I know what I got to do. And are you like that? Plus, it helps that I love what I do, and I love being around the people that I work with. They're the most awesome people that I've ever worked with. They're just incredible. So I'm kind of like that, and I just I don't know. I get to work sometimes, and people say, "Why are you here so early? What's wrong with you? Get a life." This is my life. And for those who don't know, I'm a radio announcer. I do a radio show in St. Louis. I did a radio show in St. Louis for many years, but I do one in Dallas at KRNB. It's Smooth R&B 105.7. I'm on 2 to 7 in the afternoon, and been doing radio a long time. Got into new media, YouTube, podcasting kinds of things. I've dabbled in and out of it, mostly video. Started out, I was horrible at it, and I've graduated recently to just bad. So that's just me. You know what I'm saying? So doing that, I don't know. This car stopped like in the middle of the street, like it's getting ready to get out, and it's gonna be like a hit on me. Got to be careful around here. So, but anyway, so I do that, and I do a couple of shows. I do a tech show called the Passive Geek Show, where I talk about tech stuff, tech news, but it isn't like techie tech news. It's like, and I haven't talked about this, and I'm not going to have time to do that, but I did want to tell you that if you're thinking about getting the iPhone 7, Target, up until Saturday, this Saturday, Target's working out some kind of $300 gift card if you get the iPhone 7 from them. I just saw the headline, get a chance to read it, so if you want to like Google it, you should, or if you're going to Target and you're thinking about upgrading your phone, you might want to do that on the iPhone if you're an iPhone kind of person. If you're not, I always laugh because people say, well, I don't like iPhone, I like Android. Well, good, because you know what? They make good phones too. I'm on an Android phone right now talking to you and doing what I do, you know. I think that it's important that you acknowledge that one person, one company, one phone doesn't have to be dominant. I don't like Apple computers. Well, good for you. They're not worth the money. Well, okay. But people get hostile. People actually get hostile. You have no stock. You have no stake. You may have stock. But most of us, we don't have a stake in that whole thing. We don't have stock in the company. You like what you like. I'm an Apple guy, and I do have mostly Mac and Apple things. And the interesting thing is, a good friend of mine named Guy Torrey is a comedian. And he's the one who got me hooked on Apple products, on Mac computers and stuff, because he had one. And my two youngest daughters were really young. And they would get on the computer, and everything that popped up, they'd say yes. So they were always putting malware on the computer. Well, at that time, with an Apple computer, you couldn't install anything without putting your password in it. So that kind of worked out for me. So I got Apple and bought an iMac and bought a MacBook and then bought a MacBook Pro and bought iPads and, you know, iPhones, of course. Now, if I don't have a watch. I have watches. I don't have a smartwatch. Not in the budget. So my situation is this. So I live in Dallas, and my wife and my daughters live in St. Louis. My two youngest daughters, my oldest daughter, AJ, she lives in Houston. She's got her family. She does great. Love her to death. But I live here by myself, and people ask me sometimes, you know, how do you do that? I'm like, well, I do it because it's what needs to be done, and I do it because for love of my family and stuff. Why don't they just move up here with you? I said, well, my daughter wants to finish high school there, and I promised her that we would try and make that happen. So that's what we're doing. I sacrificed a lot. Essentially, I'm a happily married, single guy who lives in Dallas, right? I live like a single guy in terms of I live alone. I do my own shopping. I do my own washing. I run my own errands. So I live like a single guy, except when it comes to relationships, because I am married. And that's basically my life. So I enjoy my time. I FaceTime with my family every night, text back and forth with my how often do I go home? I don't go home that often because I work 6 days a week. I get 1 weekend off a month, and because we're on such a tight budget that it doesn't make a lot of sense to go home that often, so I don't. My next planned trip will be in May when Olivia, my second daughter, graduates from college. But they come here a lot, and they prefer coming here from St. Louis because this is new. So there's more to experience for them here because they've lived all their lives in St. Louis. So coming to Dallas is a lot of fun for them. So they actually prefer coming here. So they do that, and they drive, and because it's cheaper. And they've done it so often that the trip is not nearly as long as it was at the beginning. They don't complain. They come. We have a great time. Olivia, who loves to dance, she's a dancer. She books dance classes while she's here, you know. And Maria is 17, and she's a shopper. She likes shopping, like all 17-year-olds. She's just a normal kid, and she loves, you know. She got her prom dress here in Dallas, and prom's this weekend. She's excited about that. I'm excited for her. So she's, you know, doing her thing, and that's kind of we make it work because my wife and I were committed to the family. We're committed to making this work. You know, how often do you go home? I'm sure that they enjoy that you're great. That it works for your family. Yeah, it works for my family. Yeah, it does work for my family, and we're very close. And we you know, when they're here, when they come, I usually like take, if I don't go completely on vacation, I take a couple of days off. And the people I work for are so great. They're so great about that, you know. And, you know, it's just an awesome situation of who I work for. And it's great. So I do that. And then in my spare time, like I said, I work on my YouTube videos, my tech show I just told you about. And then me and two great friends, two best friends of mine, Mark Clark and Troy Johnson. We do a show called Men on Scandal, where we recap Scandal show episodes from a male perspective. And if you go to menonscandal.com, I think you can find us there. We still have to record last week's episode. It's hard to do because Troy Johnson works in radio in Baltimore in the morning, and I work in the afternoon, and Mark works at night. So coordinate our schedules is all, you know, next to impossible, but we do it because we love what we do, and we love doing that, and we have a great time doing it. It lets us reconnect and talk about our lives and stuff like that a little bit. So that's kind of a fun thing to do. So that's what I do when I'm not on the radio, you know. But living alone, living single has been enlightening, and you guys are probably laughing at me thinking, man, what kind of sheltered life you've been living. But this incredible wife that I have, who's basically taking care of the household, that has allowed me to do this for a living. You know, now I have to call her and ask her things. What's the better starch to get? Spray starch in the can, or the other one that comes in the bottle? I discovered this thing called Pam. I didn't know anything about Pam. I didn't know that. I thought Pam was a person. Pam's a non-stick spray you used to cook with. Who knew? You're laughing at me. I know you're laughing at me. I didn't know. I didn't fool with it. You know, what's the best detergent to buy? You know, there's a lot men who are doing this. Whether you're doing what I'm doing, I know, you know, whether you're doing what I'm doing, or whether you're, you know, coming out of a divorce or a relationship of many years, now you're on your own, having to do things on your own that you didn't used to do. You know what I'm talking about. You know, when you've got to remember, oh damn, I've had dry cleaning in there for like a month and a half. I got to go get my clothes. You know, and because you forgot, because you don't do stuff like that. You dropped it off, you forgot to pick it up, right? And so I think a lot of us guys, we need to take more advantage of technology, and not technology in the sense of doing this, but technology in the sense of apps that can help simplify your life and get you back into the groove of doing literally everything for yourself. I think that's important. that we learn to do that. I think that and I am someone who believes that everyone has a story, and this is where creating vlogs, videos, and podcasts comes in, because I firmly believe that everybody's interested in everybody's take on things. How do you feel about the president? How do you feel about what do you think about Denzel not getting the Oscar? We all have an opinion about these kinds of things, and when you're able to form them in a compelling way, you, my friend, are a step away from creating possibly a second stream of income by creating new media content, blogging, vlogging, podcasting, things like that. It's there. So it used to be, if you wanted to do this, you either had to be in the newspaper, magazine, TV, or radio business. You don't have to have that anymore, because this lets you do that. And I think that, how I got the hiccups all of a sudden, I'll never know. Being able to do that is pretty special, I think. And if you ever need help in that, I consult people. I got some clients that I work with now that I help out. And it's interesting because I have a radio background, and people I spent 26 years on the radio in St. Louis. And so a lot of people there grew up with me, and I was working with somebody who has a great speaking voice, but then all of a sudden when I heard their show, they were talking like this. I was like this, everybody, and I was like, this ain't radio, man, it's podcasting. You don't have to, you have to be in radio too, but you have to be able to connect, and you can't talking. That's not your normal speaking voice. Just be natural, be yourself. And so I work with people on that, and people who want to do videos, help them, explain to them how audio is 50% of a video, and how lighting's important, things like that. Lighting right now kind of sucks in this because I'm moving on my way to work and stuff. So this is what I do, consulting. If you want to get at me on that, you can. Tony at TonyScottMedia.com. But that's essentially what I do. That takes up a lot of my, and it helps because I live alone, and I miss my family desperately. But they're here, they're there, I'm here, and we're committed to making it work. And some people have told my wife, how can you let your man go away like that? Because you know what? I'm not the kind of man you're used to being around. I'm a different kind of guy, right? Sex is not important to me. That's just not, and I happen to be married to a woman who understands that. It's not important for me to have always somebody by my side. It's all right. It's right here, and that helps. And she understands that, and she trusts me, and we're good. So quit telling that to her, because one day she's gonna lose her patience. She's gonna cuss somebody out, and my wife doesn't cuss. So I do, but she doesn't. But it's just the way my life is right now, and could it be better? Absolutely, it could be better. But this is the hand we're gonna play, and with God's grace and mercy, He's getting us through this each and every day, and I'm thankful for that. But anyway, just a little insight into my life. I'm the married single guy. I'm the simple tech guy. One of the hosts of Men on Scandal. I host my radio show, The Smooth Ride Home, every afternoon, which you can listen to if you're in Dallas at 105.7, Smooth R&B 105.7, or at krnb.com, KRNB like R&B music.com, or you can download the free app for your Android or iPhone. Just search KRNB in your store. That's basically it. So anyway, thanks so much for hanging out with me. I'm about 5 minutes from work, but I've pretty much run out of things to say, and I don't want to start rambling. So thanks so much for watching. I hope that you have a great day. Talk to you soon.